He's the man, he's the myth, he's the legend, he's the scientist with all the answers and all the questions. It's time for another episode of Alex's Science Corner.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, please, thank you. I get it, Bobby. A round of applause there. It's a very visual gag. Great for the radio.
What's going on in the wide, wide world of science, my friend?
Right, something a little lighter today because we've got, it's a
heavy coats on,
week.
heavy sweaters on. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Researchers have found that some types of bacteria can acquire resistance to antibiotics from other bacteria. You know that bacteria can acquire resistance to antibiotics, and what happens is you give antibiotics to bacteria, some of the bacteria will survive, and that's a bacteria that will be able to reproduce because the bacteria that doesn't survive doesn't reproduce. So the bacteria that survives becomes resistant, or there's going to be more of the resistant bacteria because that's the bacteria that reproduces. Well, there are some types of bacteria that what they do is they're able to attack other bacteria. And in the process of attacking that other bacteria, they will kill that bacteria and break it apart. And when that bacteria is broken apart, its genetic material is released, and that bacteria is able to absorb that genetic material and integrate it. So this other type of bacteria is able to get resistance to antibiotics.
like the Borg?
Yes.
Just reminded me of the Borg.
Yes, just like the Borg. So,
For you Trekkies out there.
You knew that was a Trek?
I did. I
Wow.
did. Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm
slowly Brian is coming along to our way of thinking.
Nerds.
sorry. Resistance is futile.
I know it is.
He says that as a gaming and historian geek, right?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I don't claim not to be part geek.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's unfortunately where this is coming up to be a big problem is again in hospitals, because antibiotics and other resistant things or other things to get rid of bacteria are happening in hospitals. You've got a combination of the bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics is surviving in hospitals because it's resistant. You've got a lot of sick people all in one place. And so if something starts to spread in a hospital, it can get very, very bad. And now that they're finding there's this other type of bacteria that can steal resistance, that just adds another factor that hospitals have to deal with. So it's a new challenge for hospitals, or it's an additional challenge to hospitals of dealing with this stuff. Questions?
Comments? No.
No?
No, it just reminded me of, this is really off the mark here. I've been watching Poldark, which is a PBS show, and it's set in the late 1700s, 1783 to 1788, I think is the series. And the doctors then all made house calls. There were no hospitals. When did hospitals become the commonplace? Or were there hospitals that just, they were so few?
I'm thinking late
They're
1800s, maybe?
They're not like that. I know France started to have hospitals during the French Revolution. The reason is that surgeons start to take over medical treatment from doctors, and at that time that was a big difference between the two, because doctors were not our way of thinking of doctors. Doctors were for rich people, and they would go over and give you poultices and various other things that would...
Let's do a little bloodletting.
Yeah, and
that
surgeons,
happens in Poldark.
Right, and surgeons were kind of the people that help you with broken legs or other severe actual trauma. And during the French Revolution, you had all the people fighting, and then you had Napoleon come in and all the wars. And so surgeons, because they had so much work to do, they actually came into their own.
I think we'll have to consult the old wiki.
Yeah, and
because if it's on wiki,
it's got to be true.
Yeah, but again, the surgeons during that time, they kind of created hospitals to deal with all the wounded soldiers. And so that's when, in France at least, that's when hospitals started coming in, and they start to add science to medicine.
Perhaps a professional medical historian will call in and let us know the...
Yeah.
You feeling comfortable with that answer?
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
a good
sure.
answer.
All right, let's go
Yeah.
with that one.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of those calling into the station.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, we are the #1 station for professional medical historians.
Or anything sciencey. All right.
And we're getting a call
We're getting
right
a call
now.
already. If you have any questions about these stories or anything else science-related, call like this person at 203
837.
99.
24.